All right. Welcome, folks, to IT Rockstars. We help businesses connect with the right IT and technology providers. We do that by interviewing IT business owners and people that have got a passion about IT and technology. On today's show, I've got the founder of TechForce. His name is Jai Aenugu. He's based in Aberdeen, Scotland, and he set his business up in 2016. Based in Aberdeen, I've known Jai for a number of years now through various different sort of fashions, and he's perfect to have on the show today. So we're just going to get right down to Jai. What's TechForce's mission? What's the future of TechForce? What are you all about?
Well, it's simple. Our mission is to make the job easy for IT guys and the technology easy for business owners. So we help business owners and IT guys.
How would you make it simple for them?
By using effective technologies. For example, for business owners, we will take over the whole IT function, the owners who don't have an in-house IT, and we will manage it for them. So they can forget about IT and they can focus on the business. Okay. And for IT guys, we give them the tools they need. For example, ransomware solutions or backup or disaster recovery solutions, which makes their job easy.
So is this like the IT managers, the people running the IT department?
Yes, people running the IT departments, exactly.
Okay. So what type of tools are you supplying these internal IT guys and girls?
For now, we are helping with only a couple of things, which first one is the ransomware protection tool, which is the biggest, and we've been getting loads of queries every day. And the second thing is a cloud-based solutions. When I say cloud, it's like we are selling electricity, but we're actually using the cloud as a medium to enable the opportunities or make the job easy. Like, for example, we provide backup and disaster recovery, and as competitive as 15p per gigabyte, and these guys don't have to convince their bosses for a secondary servers and hardware and stuff like that.
Okay.
And all they need to do is deploy the backup software we provide, which is Veeam, and then we will back up their VMs to the cloud.
So Veeam, I've got some experience with Veeam in the past. Now this is probably going about 5-6 years ago. I was using Veeam to do snapshots of virtual images. So that's like you've got a server sitting there and it's got virtual instances in it. And Veeam at the time was used to back up these virtual instances. Does it still work in the same manner, or what's Veeam now?
Veeam virtual instances. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
Well, I'll tell you exactly. The way that I'd used it in the past was you had VMware, a VMware server.
Yeah.
The very basic VMware server. And Veeam would go and interrogate that server. It would take the files, the actual sort of flat server files for the virtual instances, and it would either back them up on site. That's what it was used for. It was a complete it was a disaster recovery. If the worst thing happened, that's when you would use Veeam.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much what it does now as well.
Okay.
So rather than just the disaster recovery, it backs up. So you can set up the intervals, like for example, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever it is.
Okay.
Backs up so you can have it's the same stuff. You can have incrementals, differentials, reverse incrementals, which is good. Veeam is good at.
So does it go right down to the file level though? So are you using it just for the server, or
it backs up the entire VM?
Okay.
Which means it backs up the files, images, everything, right? So if you want to restore one single file or one single email, you could dig into it and you could restore it.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah, and if you want to restore the whole server in the event of a disaster, you could restore it as well. And the good thing with Veeam nowadays is you can actually restore it to Azure, Microsoft Azure.
Yeah.
So that means you don't really need to have a secondary server in place.
Don't want to go into too much technical detail. Yeah. A lot of our audience are obviously they're business owners, so they won't have a clue what Azure is maybe. But I guess that initial question I had for you, what is the mission of TechForce? You say it's where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where is TechForce in 5 years from now?
5 years, we will be the best IT company in Scotland.
Okay.
Yeah. Then 5 years time, Aberdeen. Well, so far Aberdeen is known for oil. When you think about oil,
Yeah.
will be yeah. When you think about Aberdeen, it's like oil.
Okay.
But in 5 years time, when you think about Aberdeen, it has to be tech force as well.
Okay. So you
So that's the
mentioned how do you rate being the best in Scotland? What does that actually entail? Is that the biggest or the happiest customers?
the biggest with 99% of customer retention.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Maybe we are talking about 600 to 700 customers.
Okay. If I was a business owner and I was up against, if I was looking for a new IT provider, I was unhappy with my current provider, maybe I'd had a massive, ransomware attack or, something like that, some locked down all my files. And I got you in, Jai, and maybe got another IT company in that I've heard of or know of from the past. Why should I choose you?
Right, that's a very good question. What's our USP? Unique selling point.
It's just an honest question, and it's the question that goes in the head of business owners all the time. I've seen this process many times before, and it's a good question because it's quite an open-ended question. It can mean a lot of things.
It's a cliche to say that we care about you, we are the best, and all that.
Yeah,
but
I think people are looking for an honest answer.
Yeah, in all honesty, I was at the other side of the table for last 7 years. I was an IT manager hearing all the pitches.
Mm-hmm.
I know exactly how businesses use IT and how it should be used. So I guess that's my differentiation between other companies and our company. And one more thing as well, we are the only company in Aberdeen that
Mm-hmm.
can protect you against ransomware 100%.
Okay, well, we'll get into the ransomware bit.
The second thing is we are the company which can go back today and raise prices and still won't lose a customer.
Okay.
Because we care.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I was going to ask you sort of just off the cuff, what's your monthly revenue? But I feel that was maybe a bit unfair to ask that question, just considering you've just started up in 2016. So maybe rephrase the question. What are the financial goals for the company over the next 12 months?
For first 1 year, we need to achieve a target of £183,000 in revenue.
Okay, £183,000 in revenue. Is that recurring revenue on an annual basis, or?
Probably some of it is recurring revenue, but it's not annual basis. It's a 3 years. Every 3 years.
So from that figure, then I would assume that you're looking at maybe 4 staff, maybe 3 sort of staff on that figure.
We will have probably 4 staff by end of the year.
Hi folks, just a short sponsored message from our sponsor who are Bear Attack SEO. This is a book all about search engine optimization, and it's specifically written for IT providers and managed service providers. So you may have a problem in your business, and that is true for many businesses in the IT managed service space, and that's generating more sales. The first thing to generate more sales is get more leads in the door, and that's what this book is all about. It's about using your website in the search engines to generate more leads. The book's specifically written with things like the golden keyword list, the keywords that you should be going after as a managed service provider or an IT provider. There's various things like that in the book. Anyway, check it out. Just Google Bear Attack SEO and you'll find it there. That's our sponsor, and I'm proud to have them on the show. Anyway, back to the interview. Thanks. Okay, so obviously a new company. What's been the biggest challenge you've had in business yet? You want to tell me a little bit about what that is?
There are 2 biggest challenges, right? One is getting in front of the customers. Although we kind of cracked it, but conversion rates are not high. There are so many businesses which are open to having options just now or encouraging new vendors or suppliers, but they are not really, whatever the deal you offer or whatever the value you show, they're not really switching.
Okay, so
So
would you say the biggest challenges is actually just getting customers at this point?
getting customers, yeah, probably yes and no. But we it's been 5 months for us, but we managed to get good number of customers already.
All right, okay.
You know,
Yeah.
uh, and the second challenge is really well, that's the challenge is myself. I need to sit down and make a proper plan, finding the time.
Yeah, finding the time, yeah, juggling. Okay, so we're going from what's the biggest challenge? What's the worst day in business you've had so far? You got a story there?
The worst day in the business I had was I don't remember what day it was, but it was around 5 o'clock in the evening. We worked with a customer for months and months and months. We presented what we could do when we came up with ideas and solutions, not solutions, ideas and stuff, thinking that we will get the business because we know we would get the business.
Yeah. Okay.
And in the end, the customer called us and said, "You're too small to support us."
I see. Okay.
That was really,
Yeah, a big blow because it was okay.
Yeah, it was. It was literally around 3 months. We worked on it, and I probably personally spent about 60 hours.
Oh wow.
On initial meeting and initial meeting, and then audit, and then making a presentation and a proposal and a project plan. After the presentation, we were told, okay, we would like to go ahead. Could you make a project plan? So in the project plan, I listed everything, what we are going to do with the timelines and who is going to be involved, resources required, everything else. And it was, in the end, it's a little bit cheeky, but
yeah,
they said they're not going ahead,
Okay. So what have you learned from that experience? Because, it sounds like it's not been a great one for you.
Yeah, well, I learned a lot. Actually, don't give too much information away.
Yeah.
For free.
Okay.
Or make some sort of clause saying, if you're going to use any of the ideas I'm going to propose just now, you will be charged a consultancy fees or something like that.
Okay. It sounds like you put in so much time, but just from like a sales perspective, did you maybe not try and close the sale a sort of an earlier point in time? Would that be? Did you try that? Did you try that, or did you just get led down a path?
Well, actually, I've been pushing, right? Not really pushing, but I've been asking for the business and trying to make a sale. But
did you literally ask?
Yeah, I literally asked.
Okay. All right.
It was always open-ended questions. What would I need to do to get this business? What would I need to do to take it to the next level, right?
Okay. All right.
At some point, they got three other IT companies involved for the bidding.
I see. Okay.
It's just not a nice, pleasant experience.
Okay. Well, interesting. So what's been your best day in business then?
Before we move on to that, I had a couple of other, not worst days, I wouldn't say worst days, bad experience. People hang up phone on me, right? And people kept ignoring my emails. Well, that usually happens anyway.
Okay.
But somebody just shouted at me on the phone as well, I wouldn't give you 2 seconds, hang up,
Okay.
So this stuff happens, but hey, it's okay. That motivates me to knock more doors.
Okay. So what's been your best day in business then? What's
the best day in business? I'm still trying to think, but hey, winning the first customer is always the best.
How did you get your first customer?
How did I get my first customer? Well, this is a short story. I was in a meeting with somebody. So you have to do loads of catch-ups, buy loads of coffees when you start a business.
Yeah.
Right? So, and my phone was buzzing. I was like, okay, I'll get it after the meeting. After the meeting, I called this person. I'm sorry, I missed your call. Who is this? And the girl at the other side of the phone goes, "Oh, Jay, this is me. I used to work with you years ago." I was like, "Okay, how can I help?" oh, our company servers, network, and everything gone down. Can you
Okay. So
help?
it's an old colleague.
Old colleague of mine called, and then I
And
said,
how did they know that you were in business for yourself?
I've been on posting on Facebook and LinkedIn,
Okay. So it
so
was
they knew I
they
do
were
something
connected.
like that.
Okay.
And yeah, I said, when do you need help? Is it now? And she said, yeah. Would you mind coming up now? And I showed up in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I sorted it out in 45 minutes, and I charged them. And then they said, we would like to keep you for long. So we got a good contract out of it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, I've obviously had a lot of list of questions for you here. And before I actually hit record, asked the question, what's a good question that I should be asking? And you said, well, mention the NHS or British Airways. So do you want to tell me what I should be asking there? What's happened in regards to the NHS's meltdown earlier this month? The ransomware attack, WannaCry?
Yes. Right. So I know you said earlier that not loads of audience are not too technical. So
Yep.
I won't go into technical details. But what happened in NHS case is what we see in the media is they're using old systems and XP, Windows, and all that. What really happened is somebody clicked on a link or opened an attachment which came in the email they shouldn't be opening. That's exactly how WannaCry stuff happens, right? So as soon as they open this attachment or click on the link, it runs a script, and that script exploits the loophole in the system, which is the Windows XP and whatever it is,
Okay.
So because there are no patches available for Windows XP, the loophole was there forever.
So NHS were still running the old systems that were on XP. Okay.
And this loophole was in Windows 7 as well.
Right. Okay.
If you haven't patched a month before the attack happened, which is in March. So Windows 10, there is no loophole. And this attack was so massive because the loophole is something to do with, file sharing. So it can jump onto one system to another,
As soon as it's in the network, it can go onto other machines.
Yeah, it can spread like a wildfire.
Okay, so I would be asking the question, if it came through as a link in an email, I would have thought people like the NHS and British Airways would have a, like a email filtering system to filter out any dodgy links.
Yeah, the problem with those, many of the email filtering systems are good. But the thing is, these ransomware attacks or these zero-day threats, they all are born in last few seconds, and they create hundreds or thousands of new email addresses every hour and send it through them. So the email scanners and stuff like that, they wouldn't recognize it as a known threat.
Okay.
Or, you know what I'm saying? So they usually have a IP address or something. Usually, okay, bad stuff is coming, usually comes from these addresses and stuff like that.
Okay.
But these guys are very clever, and they invent new ways every time.
I see. Okay.
And they bypass the system.
So I've personally seen a number of ransomware attacks working for various IT providers in the past, and just, through the community as well. I've always sort of maintained that, you must have a really good backup, a daily backup of all your system, and make sure that you're actually backing up the files that you've backed up that you can actually restore. But that seems fairly obvious. I mean, but what's your recommendation? What's the solution here for this ransomware attack and many others?
First of all, have a proper protection. Prevention is the best method against ransomware.
Yeah, okay. But you literally just said in your last sentence that you can have that prevention, but the links get generated differently daily. Okay.
What I said in my last statement is it's email scanners.
Okay.
The email scanners, it still gets through. Right. What I'm saying now is having a better prevention or protection system means it can't be executed on a PC, right? Whatever the script or whatever the executable file they send you, it shouldn't be executable. So your usual antivirus or your usual endpoint protection, what they do is they usually have a list of bad guys, a database of bad guys, and they will block those bad guys.
Okay.
But these threats, which were born in last few seconds, are not updated in their database. So when these threats comes along, your usual antivirus thinks, okay, this is not in my database, so this must be good. Let it run. That's exactly how ransomware stuff happens. So what you need to do is you need to have a next generation antivirus endpoint protection software.
This is the endpoint software that you've mentioned.
Endpoint software, yes.
How does that differ from normal protection, or what's the difference there? I don't actually know what it is.
Okay, this is our shameless plug, right?
Okay.
This is what we provide, but why is it different is it blocks anything that is unknown. So as soon as you install the software on the network, it classifies all the applications you have. So
Nice.
you are safe from there.
Okay.
And anything which is coming from internet or emails or whatever, macros and stuff like that, they are blocked until admin or central servers approves them. You know, and it learns as it goes. So which means you are completely protected. Just to give you a fact, in last 2.5 years, there are 0 PCs were infected which were using the software I'm talking about.
Is that right? Okay.
Globally, 0 PCs globally.
Okay. I won't ask who the provider is just because we're kind of non-biased here at the moment. We don't have any sponsors, but that will probably change in future. So an endpoint security, that's something that runs on a Windows-based PC. Does it have to go onto a Mac? Do you need it on your iPad?
Macs are usually safe, I would think, most of the times. This endpoint, it's not even a protection. Endpoint detect and response software, it's called now.
Okay. Is it? Do you need a server to run it, or can you just run it on a PC?
You can run it on any PC or Android device, Linux as well.
Okay. So how is it controlled? Is it like cloud-based, or?
Yeah, that's what I'm getting there. Okay. It's completely cloud-based. So the agent sits on the endpoint and then it feeds back into the cloud.
Okay.
And the user, the admin guy, can be anywhere in the world, just log into web interface and they can see the whole network in just single interface.
Okay. I've always found in the past that trying to sell IT security to businesses is quite difficult. It's a bit like, I always call it, as a bit like home insurance. You don't really need home insurance until you've had a fire in your house. It's something that you don't really think about until it's usually too late. Have you had experience where maybe someone's called you up, they've had a ransomware attack, and they need your help?
Right. I can't share too many details here.
Obviously not, but you can.
But I can tell you what I can tell you. Mm-hmm. So you raised a very good point. Usually businesses, even after the NHS attack happened, I reached out to few businesses. A couple of them said, no, we are too small. Nobody is interested in our
they just don't care. It's like an insurance that you don't really need, but actually do.
It won't happen to us. That's what they say, right? Until it happened to them once.
And I found that they're usually the small businesses, the ones that aren't in the public are the ones that are getting hit all the time. It's so common. But, once they get hit, they don't want to tell anyone they don't want to go to the newspapers. An accountancy firm doesn't want to go to the newspapers and say, oh, we had a ransomware attack. All of our customers' accounts was, locked out. They're not going to do that. So, but this is happening every day, all the time.
Let me tell you something. There are numerous businesses I know personally were hit, but they don't like to come out and speak about it because it's a reputation issue.
Yeah. Okay. So once you've had someone comes to you and all of their files are locked out, their backup isn't working, do they pay the ransom? What's the way out of this?
Right. What's the way out of this? It's a bit of a complex answer here. There are 3 ways. You said backup won't work, so that's one way out, which is most reliable way.
Yeah. We haven't had a backup in 6 months. Yeah, that's usually
right.
I've heard before.
And also, it's not, if you're backing up, that doesn't mean you have a backup. You have to test the backup.
Yeah.
A backup that is not tested is not a backup.
So the question is,
so the question
anyone watching this should ask their IT provider for, delete a file off your desktop and see if your IT provider can restore it from the backup.
Well, you don't have to delete. You just rename the file and ask them to get it back.
Yeah, well, there's that as well.
Yeah, you know.
I've lost the file. Can you,
if
yeah, if
you-
you can't, then you dump that provider.
Yeah. So for your question though, so if your backup is not working, you're almost screwed. So either you have only two options: either you pay or you crack the code, crack the password. But cracking the password is extremely, extremely difficult.
Okay.
I mean, we can't do that either. We need to work with somebody else.
There are variants that have been uncracked though, hasn't there? There's a number of variants.
Yeah, they can't be. You know,
Yeah.
the other way to is to pay, but it's not 100% sure that even though you pay, you get your files back.
Okay.
So that's why I'm saying prevention is the key.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I think that wraps up. That wraps it up. It was a fairly brief interview. It was really just to get an overview of your company. I'm sure you'll be on the show again at some point. We can go into some more detail on another aspect. Is there anything I haven't asked you in this interview, or you want to ask or say anything to the audience?
So anything to the audience? Huh? I'm not sure what kind of audience watches your show, but hey, recently there are two biggest things: NHS and British Airways. NHS to do with the ransomware cyber stuff, British Airways to do with the backups and disaster recovery. The company of that size, British Airways, it's very surprising to know that they don't have a secondary site, or they can't get the services back up and running in a time efficient manner.
Okay.
So if you are managing an IT for somebody, a company or your own company, make sure you have proper backups, have proper protection in place.
Okay.
If not, give us a call and we will help.
Okay. Well, what's the best way to contact you, Jay?
It's Aberdeen 51 61 81.
Telephone, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So it's 01224 516181 or jai@dtechforce.co.uk.
Okay.
That's
Excellent.
JAI, not JAY.
Okay, excellent. Well, thanks for being on the show, Jai. Really appreciate it. And to everyone else, hope you enjoyed this show. We'll be back next week with another IT provider or technology enthusiast. If you'd like to find out more about IT Rockstars or Jai's company, please visit itrockstars.co.uk. Thank you.